Ever wondered why some dishes turn out absolutely perfect while others don't, even when you follow the exact same recipe? Welcome to Deepaks Kitchen. This is Cooking Basics, where every Sunday at exactly 11 a.m., we break down cooking into simple, practical lessons. Which one should you really use? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how each of these works, why they cook food differently, and which one you should reach for every single time. So let's get started and cook smarter, not harder. Master the basics. Cook with confidence.
You look at your stove, you see 3 different pans, and you just grab whichever one happens to be clean. We all do it. But then dinner turns out a little off. The chicken is rubbery, the veggies are mushy, and you instantly blame the recipe. Or worse, you blame your own cooking skills. The truth is, your skills are probably fine. You just picked the wrong pan. Cooking those vegetables in a deep pot guarantees they turn out limp and soggy, just like using the wrong pan makes flatbreads dense and chewy. Every pan functions as a specialized tool designed to regulate 2 specific variables: heat distribution and moisture control. A pan's physical geometry dictates how hot air circulates and how fast steam escapes. If you pick a shape that fights the physics of your recipe, you are going to fail before you even turn on the stove. Naturally, you want to save money and counter space. You want to buy one pan that can handle every task on the menu. That pan doesn't exist. There is a hard law of physics in cooking. You have to trade moisture evaporation for liquid containment. You cannot have both. Look at it this way. On one side, you have pans built to retain moisture and hold liquids. On the other, you have pans built to maximize surface contact so steam can escape instantly. A deep Kadai sits all the way up here. It holds a ton of liquid, but it has terrible surface contact. A completely flat Tawa sits exactly opposite. Massive surface contact, 0 ability to hold liquid. A standard Western frying pan tries to compromise right here in the middle. It does an okay job at a lot of things, but it fails at the extremes, like deep frying or cooking a perfect flatbread. Because a single piece of metal cannot physically be deep and flat at the same time, the universal pan is a myth. You have to match the geometry to the menu. Let's start with the Kadai. This is the primary tool for maximum heat containment and managing high volumes of liquid. Look at the shape. It has incredibly steep, sloped walls that taper down into a tiny, narrow base. That narrow bottom forces cooking oil to pool deeply right at the heat source. You can create a perfect deep frying environment using a fraction of the oil you'd need in a wider pot. Meanwhile, those high, sloped walls act like a trap. As moisture tries to evaporate from the food, it hits the metal, condenses, and falls right back down. That is the exact dynamic you need to slowly simmer a rich curry or dal. But that exact strength becomes a massive liability if you try to use a Kadai for a dry, high-heat sear. When you pack a bunch of wet vegetables into that narrow base, the moisture they release has nowhere to go. The high walls trap the steam, and instead of getting a crisp, charred stir-fry, your food just boils itself into a mushy soup. If you are deep frying or simmering liquids, a Kadai is mandatory. If you want a crispy crust, keep it in the cabinet. That brings us to the standard Western frying pan, or skillet. This is your go-to for rapid evaporation and surface caramelization. Its geometry is the exact opposite of the Kadai. It has a wide, totally flat bottom and very short, flared-out sides. This shape gives your food maximum exposure to the open air. When moisture is drawn out of your food, it doesn't get trapped. It escapes straight up and dissipates immediately. By keeping the cooking surface completely dry, the pan gets incredibly hot. That is how you get a thick, dark crust on a steak, or cleanly fold an omelet without steaming the eggs. But the moment you try to use this open-air geometry for a heavy liquid dish, everything breaks down. Because the walls are so low, liquid evaporates way too fast. If you try to simmer a curry here, your sauce will dry out, your spices will scorch onto the exposed rim, and the meat in the center will stay undercooked. The frying pan dominates when you need a hard sear and a dry environment, but it lacks the architectural depth to handle liquid volume. Finally, we have the Tawa. This is the undisputed champion of direct contact heat. Its design takes the idea of the frying pan to the absolute extreme. It is completely flat. There are no vertical walls at all. Without walls, there is 0 moisture retention. every bit of steam instantly blows away, allowing the food to lay perfectly flat against the hot iron. If you want to achieve a perfectly even, flaky roti or spread batter into a paper-thin, crispy dosa, you need this exact uncompromised geometry. The most common mistake beginners make is trying to cook those traditional flatbreads inside a high-rimmed frying pan. Look at the airflow. On a tawa, the steam escapes horizontally. In a frying pan, the steam rolls off the dough, hits that short vertical wall, and bounces right back down onto the food. That trapped steam effectively boils your flatbread. Instead of turning out flaky and crisp, it becomes leathery and chewy. For dough and batter, the tawa is completely irreplaceable. So let's put these three distinct geometries side by side to see exactly how they compare. Structurally, they are entirely different tools. The kadai is steep and deep. The frying pan is flat and low. The tawa has no walls at all. That physical structure dictates how they handle moisture. The kadai traps steam. The frying pan encourages rapid evaporation. The tawa guarantees 100% direct contact, which means each pan has a strict physical limit. The kadai will ruin a dry steer. The frying pan will ruin a liquid curry, and the tawa obviously cannot hold liquids at all. Once you understand this matrix, you can pick up any piece of cookware in any store and instantly know what it will cook beautifully and what it will completely destroy. If you're outfitting your kitchen for the first time, which of these tools do you actually need to buy? The answer depends entirely on your menu. Look at what you actually eat 80% of the time. If your diet consists of heavy curries, slow-simmered dals, or deep-fried foods, the kadai is your absolute top priority. If you focus on proteins that need a fast sear, morning eggs, or quick pasta dishes, your money should go straight into a high-quality frying pan. And if you make fresh flatbreads or dosas every day, you cannot skip the tawa. You will fight a frying pan every single time you try to flip a roti in it. For a traditional South Asian kitchen, the setup is clear. Invest your budget heavily into a solid kadai and a tawa. The Western frying pan is really just an optional extra. For a traditional Western kitchen, a premium frying pan handles the vast majority of the workload. You can skip the kadai and the tawa entirely without much consequence. Ultimately, the right pan is simply the one whose physical shape matches the physics of your food. Depth ensures moisture retention, while flatness ensures evaporation. Choosing based on that alignment is the fastest way to improve your cooking.
It's never about owning more cookware. It's about understanding which one works best for the recipe you're making. That's what makes cooking simple, enjoyable, and consistent. That's exactly why I created the Cooking Basics series, to help every home cook build confidence, one lesson at a time. Join me every Sunday at 11 a.m. as we simplify cooking together. If today's lesson helped you, hit the like button, subscribe to Deepaks Kitchen, and let me know in the comments what should we break down next in Cooking Basics. Your ideas might be featured in an upcoming episode. Keep learning, keep experimenting, enjoy every moment in the kitchen. Until next time, signing off, Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka. See you soon in the next video.